I'm Cassandra and I work with ThedaCare. I'm also a busy mom of 3.
Camden, no thanks. Hey.
Doing it all is more challenging than ever, and that includes making healthcare decisions. So, welcome to Health Inspired Talk, where we cut through the confusion, we chat with experts, and we help you get the care you need for you and your family. It's the season for New Year's resolutions. As we finish the holiday season and flip the calendar to a new year, the idea of a fresh start inspires so many of us to set goals to better ourselves. Research shows that while Americans love to make resolutions, only about 9% of people say they are successful in keeping them. So as we begin 2024, we're looking at healthy habits and offering tips for staying on track. Many people vow to exercise more at the beginning of the year, but it's easy to abandon those good intentions. A way to avoid that? Set some clear and attainable goals. Here to talk to us about how to start an exercise routine is Dr. Doug Connor, a sports medicine physician, and Emily Murray, a physical therapist, both with ThedaCare Orthopedic Care. Thank you for joining us.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
Wonderful. So we're going to first talk about the exercise routines that people can start at the beginning of the year, maybe how to stick with those exercise routines, and how to stay safe, because that's, again, all really important topics, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, so let's dive into it. Why is it so important to have an exercise routine? Dr. Connor, why don't you start for us?
Sure. And I guess it's hard to count the innumerable ways that exercise is important for our health. There are a number of medical conditions that exercise has proven to be better than any pill we can give somebody. People who exercise are found to be, have longer lives, have better quality of life. It's not just to be active, but it's really for your overall well-being.
So we often hear about this recommendation to get at least 150 minutes a week of physical activity. Do you want to start, Dr. Connor, maybe talk about why that's important, and then you can come alongside and maybe talk about what you do for 150 minutes. How about that?
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Connor.
So I guess when I start talking with patients, I throw away the number. You don't need a certain number. Those are guidelines that are recommended by a number of well-being societies, and overall, we do see numerous health benefits at that level, but everybody's different. So when someone comes into my office, we often talk about exercise as medicine. And we actually talk about an exercise prescription that I'll give somebody at the office visit. And so that has to start with the individual. So every person's different. I don't want people to get hung up on a minute per week that they have to do. But if we can start getting you moving, we know that physical inactivity is such a problem. And so getting you moving, sit less, move more, let's start there. And then we'll figure out kind of what goals are in terms of, the intensity of exercise, the duration of exercise, what exercise you're doing. But that's kind of a secondary thing in my mind.
Okay, and Emily, do you want to talk a little bit about when people think about maybe those recommended minutes or starting an exercise routine, it may seem overwhelming for some people. For busy parents, for busy adults, we just can't find time to fit it in. Do you have any type of advice for when we can fit it in?
Absolutely. So schedule exercise into your day. Make exercise part of your lifestyle. Do what you can, when you can, with the time and resources available to you. A short workout is better than no workout at all. It still benefits us. It helps us to maintain the habit of regular physical activity, and even more powerful, it helps us to maintain the habit of taking care of ourselves, which is the best thing that we can do for us and the people in our lives.
Okay, that's really good advice. So let's talk now about staying safe and steering clear of injuries, because a lot of people, beginning of the year, they're starting these exercise routines for the very first time. I want you both to talk about, how do you stay safe and what do you recommend to people?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing is when you're exercising, you want to make sure that you're taking the time to perform up in a warm up and a cool down. So a few minutes of walking, maybe some dynamic exercises just to increase the blood flow to your muscles and joints and prepare them for activity. With a cool down, you want to gradually decrease the intensity of exercise that you're performing and then follow that up with some static stretching. In addition to that, as you're exercising, you want to gradually increase, once again, the exercise intensity and incorporate a variety of different activities. I talked about previously incorporating things like aerobic exercise, strength, flexibility, balance to really address all aspects of physical fitness. And you also want to switch up the exercises that you are performing to challenge your body differently and prevent any overuse injuries. In addition to that, rest is so important. We want to make sure that we're incorporating 1 to 2 rest days to give our body optimal times to recover. And also listen to your body. If you are experiencing pain, don't push past the point of pain. You want to make sure that you talk to your doctor, get some help, or maybe even schedule a consultation with a physical therapist.
That's wonderful. Really good points, Dr. Connor. Other things to avoid injury?
I mean, I love the pushing through pain part, right? I get a lot of weekend warriors in my clinic, and we've always been told no pain, no gain, which is not the way to approach, especially initiating an exercise routine. If I was somebody who's been exercising for years and runs half marathons on weekends, yes, that patient is going to have a much higher level of activity that they can tolerate. If I have somebody who has not been active for even a few years, you've got to start slow. Exercise shouldn't be painful. You should not be pushing through pain. I often talk about patients being able to finish their exercise routine, feel like they could do more, but stopping because this is more than what I did last week or the week before. And so this slow, steady progression of having an end goal in mind of where you want to be, but having a plan to get there.
All right. Thank you both for being with us. We appreciate all the great advice you've given us.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
When we think of resolutions, eating better and losing weight always top the list. Joining us to discuss tips for healthy eating and weight management is Allie Hatley. She is a health coach with ThedaCare. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So today we are going to play a Family Feud inspired game. We have our board all set up and ready to go. We're going to guess some of the tips that you have for eating better in the new year.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll do my best at these guesses here, and hopefully you can talk through some of this with us.
Absolutely.
Okay, so my first guess, I feel like this is an easy and an obvious one, but it's just eating better all around, more fruits and veggies, and just eating foods that are better for you. Is that on our board?
That is on the list. Yes, it is. So fruits and vegetables, they're high in fiber. They have all those great nutrients that are great for our bodies. Plus they're lower in calories, so it really helps with weight loss if that's what your New Year's resolution is. A couple tips that you can do to kind of add more fruits and vegetables into your diet. First of all, you have to buy it. It's got to be on the grocery list, but it's not enough to just buy it. Now you have to be really intentional about it and make a plan. That might be adding more fruit to oatmeal or cereal, or maybe you're adding onions, peppers, spinach to eggs, or just simply having an orange or an apple with your breakfast in the morning. At dinner time, trying to be really intentional about having half the plate be veggies is a really great first start.
Kind of simple for us, right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm going to guess one of the next tips here.
Yeah.
I feel like I hear this really often, cutting out as much sugar as you can from your diet.
Yes.
Is that on our list?
Yes, that is on our list. So sugar can cause a lot of inflammation. Obviously, too, it can add a lot of calories to our diet. So it makes it a lot harder to lose weight, which is a lot of people's New Year's resolution, to lose weight. When we want to cut out added sugar, there's a couple of things that you can do. One thing and that I always recommend to people is just get really good about reading food labels. You might be really, really surprised how much added sugar is hidden in different things. A lot of times people will say, well, I don't have a sweet tooth. You don't have to have a sweet tooth to have too much sugar in your diet.
That's a good point.
So getting really good about reading those food labels, also really focusing on eating as many whole foods as you can so that you can reduce the amount of processed food in your diet, which is where all that added sugar is hidden. Also trying to make some simple swaps. Like if you're a soda drinker, trying to swap in water or even like sparkling water if you like that fizziness might be a great way to go.
Those are really good tips as well. Okay, another one I'm going to guess maybe is snacking. Would snacking be on the list?
Yes, a lot of our extra calories come from snacking. So one of the biggest tips that I tell people too is get really good about having a filling breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's a long time between noon and say 6 when you eat dinner too. So if you are going that entire time without eating, then yeah, when you get home from work, you're gonna be really, really hungry, and then you're gonna end up over snacking and then having dinner on top of that. So making sure that you have something packed in your lunch, maybe like an apple with some peanut butter or some kind of a healthy snack that you can have maybe around 3 or 4 o'clock so that when you get home, you're not starving.
Okay, my next guess is, oh goodness, how about incorporating more protein? I feel like I hear that more and more, that, the protein keeps you fuller.
Yes.
So is that on our list?
Absolutely, it is on the list. So incorporating more protein is really, really important because it does control our appetite. It helps us feel fuller longer, so we're less likely to overeat. If you can, try to get more protein from plant sources as much as you can. And if you are going to get protein from animal sources, trying to find those leaner options like, chicken or turkey, low-fat dairy, things like that.
Okay, one of my last guesses is going to be more whole grains. I feel like I hear that one a lot.
Yes.
Okay, so that is on our list.
That is on our list. So adding more fiber to our diet is so important. You want to typically get about 25 to 35 grams of fiber in a day. Most of us don't get nearly that amount. So it's really important to focus on fiber. It helps us control our appetite, feel fuller longer so that we're not eating quite as much, but also they're very nutrient dense and they have that fewer calories. So you can have the same volume of food, but for far less calories, which is obviously going to help with weight loss. But then on top of it, it also is going to help with digestion. It helps with lowering cholesterol, lowering your blood pressure, inflammation, and then also helping control your blood sugar if you are a diabetic or if you're trying to prevent diabetes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Allie, for being with us. We appreciate it, and we appreciate all these great tips to help us get started on a healthy new year.
Yeah, you're welcome.
To close today, we're talking with Dr. Cynthia Fisher, a family medicine physician with ThedaCare Physicians Oshkosh. Dr. Fisher, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so we've already talked about working toward our exercise and eating goals, and now we're going to play a game of Pictionary, and we're going to talk about some additional habits that might help us as we enter this new year here. So you're going to have some pictures, and these are going to symbolize some of the healthy habits that we can incorporate into our life.
Okay.
All right, we're going to play. Okay, so we're looking here at some of these images. Now, the very first one, okay, I can guess this, right? Sleeping more.
Yeah, adults should have 7 hours of sleep a night. That's a good goal to aim for. Also, things that we forget about is you really should be going to bed at the same time every single night and getting up at the same time every single morning. So that means on the weekends, you're not supposed to be sleeping in.
That's what I was going to ask. Okay.
Within a half hour of your regular sleep schedule is the healthiest habit.
Okay. Oh, really good things to keep in mind. All right, let's take a look at the next one here. So I see a chair, less, sitting less, maybe moving more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember before we were virtual, we had time to walk between meetings. Same thing with kids in school. They had time to get up and move. So you should be moving for at least 3 minutes for every 30 to 60 that you're sitting.
Okay, so that's really good kind of to keep in mind because you start to get busy and then you're sitting for a long time and you're like, oh, I haven't gotten up for quite some time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so get up and move.
Yeah.
Okay, our next Pictionary. Oh, goodness. Okay, I think this one is more water.
There's a drop of
Right?
water there.
Okay, drop of water. So I'm going to say more water.
There we go. So in that 3-minute break, you probably should be getting up and getting some water.
Sure.
Water decreases fatigability. It increases energy. For the teens and tweens that are into all the skincare products right now, it helps your complexion.
Oh, okay.
Also helps you be more regular. So you know what? During one of those breaks, get up and have that water because then the next break, you're going to have to get up and use the restroom.
Okay, that's an easy one, I feel like, right? Drinking more water. Okay, next one here. Scissors, okay. It's not cutting your hair. I'm going to guess cutting out alcohol.
Alcohol.
It is
Yes,
alcohol,
yes.
okay.
So the ADA recommendations is adult males should get about 2 alcoholic beverages or less a day, and women should be 1 alcoholic beverage or less a day. And that's if you don't have any contraindications to alcohol. That being said, the World Health Organization now said that there's really no safe alcohol amount. So less is more, and that's because alcohol has been linked to 7 different preventable cancers, and they found it's the alcohol in the beverage, not the beverage itself. So yes, limiting alcohol in 2024 would be a great goal.
I know we always often hear about dry Januaries, so maybe continue on throughout the year if you can.
Yeah.
All right, next one here. Person running, brain. I'm guessing maybe brain activity, stimulate your brain,
Stimulate
muscles.
your brain, yeah.
Okay.
So one way to stimulate your brain is to exercise. Doing an activity actually helps you remember more. Also, learn something new every day. This is your personal recommendation that you can get a new hobby in 2024 because learning something new is really good for the brain and very stimulating.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. Oh, a bandage and your brain. Is this one tied to mental health?
Yeah, I like the little heart on that brain. That looks for like mindfulness. So, just getting a pulse check on yourself. How are you feeling? What are your limitations? Taking time out for yourself. And if you need help, ask for help.
Yeah. And it's okay, right? I
It
think
is.
sometimes there is always that, worry that you might be asking for help or you might need to take a step back, but it's okay.
It's okay.
All right, and a great recommendation for 2024. Okay, so something else we want to talk about is maybe things you can do to streamline your healthcare in the new year. What are some tips that you have for us?
Yeah, so, it's a fresh new year, Getting all your appointments set up for the year would be a great goal for 2024. I'm talking about setting up those wellness visits, setting up all your prevention visits. Bonus if you can set them all up in one day, so you kind of get that off your mental checklist in your head. Additionally, if you're a Medicare Advantage patient, you don't have to wait a year and a day for your physical. You could schedule that winter physical like in the summer months when it's just a little bit more convenient to drive. And so that's something you could do now so that you have a best availability, the time slots that you're looking for.
Dr. Fisher, these are really easy things that we can do in 2024. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah, this was fun.
And we wish you health and wellness as you embark on the new year. Join the Life Inspired movement to get our free wellness guide and tips for healthier living delivered right to your inbox. Visit ThedaCare.org/lifeinspired to get started. We'll see you soon. At ThedaCare, our mission is to help you live your unique best life. And we want to know what kind of questions you have when it comes to your health care. Leave your questions and comments below. And be sure to like and subscribe so you see the very latest in this series.